Today I'm going into my 2024 year-long Faire update. 2024 was my first full year of selling on Faire. I had about 3.5 months, 4 months the previous year in 2023, but 2024 is a full year of selling. So I wanted to share my numbers for that year, and I'm pleasantly surprised, and I think you'll be a little bit surprised too. So we'll get into that. Unfortunately, right now, tariffs are still in effect, so my plan with that has stayed the same. I'm pretty much paused. I'm slowly starting to get some orders ready to place, and we'll place those as soon as we find out tariff information, which hopefully will be this week. And then I can start boosting my 2025 year on Faire, because those numbers are a little bit different than 2024, and I'll get into that in a later video. But let's dive into these 2024 Faire numbers. In case you are new to this channel, I have a seasonal business, which means my window for selling is about the middle of September, end of September, until about the middle of December. So it's a very short window. I've chosen this business right now because I have one child left at home still for another year, and I really want that to be my focus. Fortunately, I've sold a couple of my businesses, and I'm not in a position where I have to push things really hard right now. That will come a little bit later after they leave. So for right now, I'm just focused on a seasonal business. There's a bunch of videos talking about my seasonal business and how I'm handling that, some challenges I've had, and the pros and cons kind of having a seasonal business. So with that being said, on Faire, when I'm selling my products, it's mostly a seasonal business. There's some products that could be used year-round for the right things, but for the most part, this is definitely a seasonal business. So when looking at numbers, you're gonna see my highest numbers September through December, and I'll go through all of that next. All right, instead of getting actually into my account, because there's so much to go through, I think it's going to be faster to screen share some things with you on the screen here. So I've got a bunch of notes here, and I'm gonna be putting up screen shares so that you can see those numbers, and gonna walk you through exactly what I did and why I think my numbers were so high for 2024 and how I'm gonna move forward. All right, let's take a quick look at 2023. I did $58,787 in sales August 23rd through December 31st of 2023. I had 242 total orders, 5,118 page visits, and a 3.6% conversion rate. I'm gonna go ahead and compare those numbers to the exact same dates in 2024 before we move on to the full year, just so you can get a good picture of what happened. So for the same time period in 2024, I had $84,575 in sales August 23rd through December 31st. I had 320 orders, 7,045 page visits, and a 3.7% conversion rate. That is a $25,788 increase in sales. Pretty impressive. I was extremely happy with that. I really have no complaints, especially when you find out how little I did, which we'll talk about in a bit, but let's look at some other numbers. I'm gonna show you the entire year now for 2024. If we look at the entire year of 2024 selling a seasonal product, and let's put seasonal in quotations because by my standards, what I'm pushing, when I'm pushing it, it's a seasonal product. You could use it here or there throughout the year. So for a seasonal product, from January 1st through December 31st, 2024, I did $103,585 in sales. I had 399 orders, 10,140 page visits, and a 3.1% conversion rate for the entire year. I was blown away. I was super excited. I was not anticipating it. I'm in a few Faire groups, and a lot of people were talking about sales being down. I didn't see any of that. So I was really happy at the end of the year when I looked at these totals. I obviously was tracking throughout the year, but just super happy with how the year went. Let's remember though that this is a gross number. I have to take out my cost of goods sold, my cost of shipping, which boxes, tape, labor, things like that. But this is the gross number that Faire paid me for the year 2024. Let's talk now about what I did to increase these sales. From January until about mid-September, I did absolutely nothing. So I don't really focus on my business during that time as far as selling. I focus on creating products for the next season and having a little bit more relaxed schedule, enjoying life a little bit more, and really just creating and getting products ready to order. So during that time on Faire, I actually ended up selling $27,505 from January 1st through September 15th. And this is nothing. I did absolutely nothing to promote this. All I did was ship orders out as they came in, and that was all the labor I had. And this is an area where I know people really bash on Faire for the fees that they take and all of that, but you also have to remember that this is a platform where they are doing a service for us. So they are doing all the advertising, they're pushing customers to your store, they have the platform, and to me, this is just gravy. This is just a little bit extra when I have the product anyway, it's just sitting here. I made $27,000 and basically did nothing except ship the order, which is pretty incredible, I think. So let's talk about what I did about mid-September through December. And around that time, I started pushing Facebook ads to my Shopify store. So that's my retail store to customers, not a wholesale store. Now, I started seeing traffic go up quite a bit, and you could say a couple things. First, this is a seasonal business. It could have just been stores were starting to look more for Christmas items, but a lot of stores order Christmas items in July or August and either ship them out right away or have them shipped later. Obviously, I see more through September, October, things like that, but my increase was going up quite a bit. So there's no way to track this through my Facebook ads or Faire to see if people were seeing them. But my assumption is that there was store owners seeing my ads as an individual, my retail ads. They would go to my site and they would either see my wholesale link or they would go to Faire to see if I was selling wholesale. And this has been partially confirmed to me because I did have a few customers reach out to me on Faire before ordering, just with some random questions. And I made sure to ask them at the time how they found me, and they all said through my Facebook ads. So for those customers, I did send my Faire direct link through the message system on Faire. Is this legal? I'm not sure, but I also had confirmation that it was me who sent those people to my store. And so I felt like I was valid in sending that link. They had the choice to use it or not, and they all actually used it. So, and I got the 0% for those orders. I felt like I had a little bit of confirmation on that Facebook ad situation, but I wasn't sure how to start directing that traffic to using my Faire direct link. So I kind of just let that go. I thought that it was just great that I was having an increase in sales and views and more customers, and let Faire have their 15%. So many people ask me about driving those customers to your own website after you've acquired them on Faire. And I do have an answer for that in a future video, and I'm working on a way to create my own wholesale site. Not necessarily to take those Faire customers away. I may just end up leaving those customers there, but I do want to drive future customers to a wholesale site, and I think I have a pretty good plan on how to do this. So again, if you do something like this, if you send a link through the Faire messaging system, I don't know if this is legal or not, so don't take my advice, but I did it and it worked and Faire let me have them. I just felt like I had the confirmation that my ads were what were driving traffic. So I took the risk and I did it. It was probably only 4 to 5 orders out of hundreds of orders that came in. So not that big of a deal in the long run, I don't feel like, for Faire, but it was just a good confirmation for me. So all in all, I was extremely happy with my first full year on Faire. And you have to remember that this is just the wholesale side of my business. So I do also have the retail side, which did amazing this year. Also, I did struggle a lot more with Facebook ads. I know Facebook has changed. I started to look into TikTok, some other platforms, and Honestly, TikTok is just overwhelming to me. And I know that so many people have had success. It's just an entirely different animal, and one that I need to dive in a little bit more on for the retail side, because I know you can absolutely, your brand can just sell out so fast and you can get so much traction if you are on TikTok. But for right now, I was really focused on the wholesale side of my business and the retail side on my Shopify store. So possibly this year, I'm going to be adding in a few other platforms and really trying to push that. We'll see what the tariffs do, see how much product I have, see how much I need to be doing, because if I run out of product, there's no point in pushing my brand on other platforms. In the next video, I'm going to share with you how 2025 is going, and spoiler, it is not going as well as 2024, but I also know why, and I know what's going on. I know how to fix it, and so I'll share that with you in that video. And I'm also going to do a video going through some Faire questions, because I know there's so many questions out there, and I've been answering a lot of questions in comments and emails, and I just want to do a video to clarify some of those questions. So if you have any questions, drop those below. I'll answer you and possibly answer in a future video too. I hope this was helpful for you to see what's possible on Faire. Again, this is a seasonal business. Imagine what you can do with a full-time, all year round business. I'm really excited to see what happens with my brand when I start going full-time all year round, which I plan to do probably in about 1.5 or 2 years. Try and slowly switch things over, add more products, more year-round products, and really explode the brand. But I hope this was helpful, and have a great day.